So the pathophysiology in the aortic valve is almost similar to that of the atherosclerotic coronary artery or a peripheral artery. The risk factors are same for a degenerative aortic valve stenosis. The risk factors, classical risk factors including sugar, diabetes, hypertension, dyslipidemia, smoking are all the same for both aortic valve degenerative aortic stenosis and coronary artery disease. You can see later there is an addition, there is calcification which is contributing more to the end stage of progressive aortic stenosis. Which before that we pick up in coronary artery disease, but in aortic valve disease calcification is predominant during the time of intervention. So normally there is a single layer tunica intima which is the endothelial layer, and type 1 and type 3 collagen in the media, and there are fibroblasts which can replace once the collagen is depleted. So you can see the initiation is the inflammation. The stress of inflammation is usually mechanical stress. So in response to a mechanical stress, there is damage in the endothelium. So this damaged endothelium gives way to LDL from the circulating blood to enter into the tunica media. This LDL is oxidized, resulting in oxidized LDL. So this oxidized LDL, it attracts chemotactic factors like angiotensin II. And for phagocytosing this LDL, oxidized LDL, there are monocytes and T lymphocytes from the blood circulation which are recruited, and they become macrophages and T cells. So these macrophages and T cells, they phagocytose becoming foam cells. And these cells call for other chemotactic factors like transforming growth factor beta, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and interleukin 1 beta. Meanwhile, these chemotactic factors, they result in deposition of collagen fibrils into the media. And you can see this is like a lipid plaque where there are oxidized LDL molecules and phagocytosed LDL molecules by macrophages here. And there are extensive deposition of collagen fibrils. There is even mild neovascularization. Small vessels, they crop up for supplying this extensive vascularity to the newly recruited cells and fibroblasts. You can see this fibroblasts have undergone a transformational change to a myofibroblast. So there is deposition of the collagen fibers. This is called sclerosis or also called as fibrosis. So this is the morphological change in the initial phase of the aortic stenosis. This is called aortic sclerosis. What happens later? Because of extreme activation of matrix metalloproteinase and tissue inhibitors of matrix metalloproteinase, there is extensive deposition of the collagen that is there earlier. But from the myofibroblast, there is activation because of osteoprotogerrin, rank and rank ligand and RUNX2. All this will activate the myofibroblast and transform it into osteoblast, which mediated by alkaline phosphatase, osteocalcin and bone morphogenetic protein 2 results in calcification of these cells. So if there is a spot of calcium initially, then the spots accumulate together and there is the aortic valve is converted to a bone-like thick rigid structure. So starting with inflammation, that is the first step, it ends with the calcification. A calcified thick hard bone-like aortic valve is a severely stenotic valve. So these are the morphological changes happening within the valve. So what are the consequences the valve creates to the LV diastolic function, systolic function, the LV end diastolic pressure which is transmitted as the LA pressure and the pulmonary artery pressure, and the resultant changes which give rise to the symptoms of aortic stenosis. That is also included in the further classification, physiological classification of severe aortic valve stenosis.